Let's do a really simple budget right now. Just follow my steps. Then as we add more details, I'm going to give a lot more explanation. Quick note, as you see, it's pretty large. I made this spreadsheet look large so my old eyes can see it. If you hold down your control key and you use the scroll wheel on the mouse, you can make your screen larger, or I'm going to scroll down, or smaller. As you need to see closer, scroll up, or if you want to see more of your sheet, you can scroll down. Click on this first cell, A1. That's the first cell. Click it. You see it's in blue. It's selected, so it's got a blue border around it. And we're going to type the word income. And hit enter. Now that word is in that cell. Next to income, I'm going to click in the cell next to it because I want to type something in this cell, B1. We're going to type in the amount of income. Let's go with 4,000. So we'll type 4,000. Hit enter. Now expenses. I want the expenses to line up under income. So I'm going to click in a cell, A3. I want it a little distant so it looks clear to me, but you don't have to. This is just so you can see the basics of how to use a spreadsheet. Next to expenses, next to the label expenses, I'm going to click in that cell and type in a number for expenses. Let's type in the number 3,000. Hit enter. Now we have that data, that number inside that cell. I'm going to click in cell A5 and I'm just going to type leftover because that is what we'll have after all of our expenses are taken out of the income that we have in the bank. I'm going to click in the cell next to leftover, and looking at this, I can see 3,000 from 4,000 will equal 1,000. So I'm going to click in that cell and type 1,000. That's great, but this is hardly making use of our spreadsheet. This is hardly making use of the capabilities of this. Let's change the expenses, for instance. If I change that to 3,416. Now we can do the math, of course, but that's what we want the spreadsheet to do. We want it to do the math. So I'm going to click on the cell where I want the answer to appear. And I'm going to put a formula in this cell where we want the answer to appear. I am going to hit delete, the delete key, just to get rid of that number so it's not confusing what we're doing. So the formula we're going to type is on the keyboard, find your equal sign, the key with the equal sign, it's next to the backspace, type equal. Next to that, we're going to type in our income number, 4,000. And just like a math problem, we're going to, a subtraction problem, we will type the minus sign, which is the key with the dash, the one that's next to the plus sign key. Don't hold the shift down, just hit that key. Next, we'll type in the number for the expense, 3416. That's all we need for our formula. So we're done typing. When we're done typing in a cell, we hit enter. Look at that. It did the calculation for me. But let's say that's our expenses this month. Next month, we're into the next month, and we find our expense is now 3,759. I'm going to hit enter. But the calculation didn't change. I'm going to click on that cell, and we can even see the calculation right here. The calculation is what I typed in before. That's not a good use of my time to keep retyping in the calculation. The reason that we use a spreadsheet is to automate things for us. So let's make it so this cell, the leftover amount, always shows us what is whatever in the income cell minus whatever's in the expense cell. I'm going to hit the delete key just to, again, erase what's in that cell so it's clear what we're doing. Again, we start our equations again, we always start our equations with an equal sign. So I'm going to tap the equal key. And this time, instead of typing 4,000, I'm going to click on the space that has 4,000 in it. Once I click on that space, the cell address is now put into the formula. I'm going to type an equal sign. I'm going to type a minus sign, the dash, and then I'm going to click in the space, the cell that has the number for the expenses. And I'm going to go over this in the next video slowly. So I'm going to click that. And now in the formula, we have the cell with the income minus then the cell with the expenses. That's all we need for this formula, one thing minus another. Since we're done typing the formula, we're going to hit the enter key. And now I have a number in here that is accurate. 4,000 minus 3,759 is 241. The reason that we do this, because now we've made our life easier. Whenever we want to change the numbers, the calculation is already in there. We can now just play with the numbers. So I'm going to click on the income and say, hey, my income went up this month. My Etsy account started making some money for me. So my income this month is 4,200. I type in the number, hit enter, and look at that. In the leftover spot, the calculation is automatic. My expenses, they went down a little this month. I finished paying off a credit card. Let's make this expense $37.10. Type it in, hit enter. This amount changes automatically. Once more, income. We were doing really well with the Etsy this month. Let's say it's $45.16. Enter. The leftover amount, $806, is 4,516 minus 3,710. And we're going to build on this spreadsheet, adding more details and talking a little bit more about these cells.